Today's webinar will be going through some of the reasons you may decide to move from your current finance system to Microsoft Dynamics GP. My name is Simon Nicholson. I'm the Dynamics GP Service Delivery Manager at Advantage Business Systems. So some of the common reasons why organisations decide to update their existing finance systems can be business growth. So from the time when you implemented your current finance system, the organisation may have grown, reporting requirements may have changed, number of users may have changed, and your business has found that your current finance system doesn't fit day-to-day requirements. In addition to that, with the modern market, there are huge requirements to be able to report in multiple different currencies. A lot of systems available on the market only allow you to report in a single currency. Microsoft Dynamics GP will allow you to report in any currency that you wish, and also allow you to assign your own exchange rates for different various posting types of accounts. In addition to that, you may find that your current reporting is cumbersome and you would like to move something that is more business intelligence related, whether that be on the web or via Excel, that users can tailor, manipulate, chop and change to suit their own requirements. In addition to that, you may find that you want to integrate with other systems, whether it be a payroll system, a sales system, and the ability to import from those systems into your finance, and also be able to export from your finance system into other solutions. In addition to that, you may find that your financial periods have changed, whether you're changing from calendar year to a financial year, whether it be 12, 13, 14, 15 periods, you may find that your organisation has changed. In addition to that, with compliances such as SOX, you may need to be able to track any changes made to creditor accounts, or for any transactions, new records. You may find that you have to have authorization, so from an audit perspective, you have full flow of where those records came from. So to give you a rough idea as to how Dynamics GP can actually fit in with that, I will take you through the system. So Microsoft Dynamics GP is available on-site or hosted, whether that be via private cloud or Azure, and you can have the old-fashioned thick client where users have an individual install on their PCs, or alternatively, Dynamics GP is available as a web client. You see here that I have a Dynamics GP client up and running via a web. That can be, as you see here, either HTTP or HTTPS. The availability within the web client is virtually identical to that as in the thick client installation. For the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to concentrate on my own thick client. So just to give you a little bit of a navigation around the system, it is designed to be very, very familiar. It is a Microsoft product, so the design, the look and feel is very, very Microsoft centric. It's designed to look very similar to Outlook. The other benefit to Microsoft Dynamics GP is that it is very tailorable to the own user. So you'll see here, I've already logged into my company. I have got access to a number of companies within the system. And within those companies, my security, my roles, the tasks I can carry out on a day-to-day basis are all defined by my user login. So my user login, I've decided to associate all the things you can see on my home page to what I do on a day-to-day basis. So I can have reminders of things that are due. I can have tasks that I need to be reminded to be done. I can have reports that I run on a regular basis, and also specific things that I do regularly, and I can just simply click on these and it opens up a window. The toolbar along the top is again completely tailored, and I've added things on here that I use on a regular basis. In addition to that, you have an address bar very similar to that of Internet Explorer, and this remembers everywhere that you've been. So if I just chop and change between my ledgers, you'll see that it remembers this. If I go into a specific window, again, it remembers where I've been. One thing that's particularly good in the system is help, and it's contextual help, and which means that when you hit F1, it opens up the help that relates to the specific window that you're in. So if users ever get stuck, not sure what to do, unsure which particular buttons mean, they can actually click on F1 or the help and it shows them everything that relates to the particular window that you're in. So I'm on my home page here, so it's opened up the help on my home page itself. I can create shortcuts to things again that I do on a regular basis, and these shortcuts aren't just to tasks within the Dynamics system. They can be to web pages, to Excel, to Word, to any other application that you have either installed locally or on your network. The theory behind this is that GP should be your desktop. It's where you can get into everything that you do on a regular basis. From a user entry perspective, there are different levels of user. I'm logged in as a full user, which means I can have full access. Dynamics GP also has light users who have a very, very scaled down access. So for argument's sake, an inquiry user or a timesheet user or a requisition entry user who can actually only see specific areas of the system that you have designed and designated to. From that perspective, the user costing is actually a little bit cheaper should you decide to go down the light user route. Number of users available in the system, we have an advantage, a single user system, and also our largest client is 500 plus users, so it's very, very scalable. The system itself sits on Microsoft technology of Microsoft SQL Server, and along with that you get the full stack of Microsoft SQL Server technology. So there are a number of things such as analysis services, integration services and reporting services which link directly in with Dynamics GP. In addition to that, there are also links to Outlook, Excel and Word directly from the application here, or should you be a user who doesn't need to access the system directly, there are a number of reports which I'll show you in a little while which you can access outside the system which will allow you to drill back into the Dynamics GP application. So just to give you a little bit more of a look and feel, as I said, this is my home page and I can maximize these particular tasks for anything that I wish to do, and these are fully hyperlinked into what I'd like to be able to do. So I go into my reports and just drag that down there. I can just simply click on one of these reports and it runs a specific record that I want. And where we have, again, the direct links with Office, any record that I run, I can simply click on a button which then exports it into Excel. This is just then an Excel spreadsheet, and you can do whatever you want, publish it, save it, wherever you like. Obviously, more and more organizations nowadays are using Office 365, so should you have a OneDrive, a SharePoint drive, you can very, very simply save those to any location you wish. In addition to the home page itself, I then have very, very simple navigation. If I want to do something that relates to my general ledger, I can simply go to my financial page. I can go to my sales page, I go to my purchasing page. And what you'll see is each of these pages are broken down into types. So if I go to my financials, I've got my inquiries, and this is just another series of shortcuts to be able to open up a number of windows. So here's my financial inquiry window. If I want to do a transaction, I have my transaction window. And which elements appear on these menus can be set down to the individual user on a company by company basis. What you also have on each of these navigation panes, as they're called, is you then have a number of lists, and that again is a way of analyzing data. Very, very simply extracting information from the system and putting into any format that you like. So some of the key features of GP and some of the things I find very, very simple to use. So from the chart of accounts, if I look at my account code setup, my individual company has got a 3-segment setup. I've got a cost center, I've got a nominal section, and I've got a sub-analysis. What I also have within that, I have categories, and these categories are great from a reporting perspective. So if you'd like to be able to create summary level financial reports, but not base them on an account code level, but on a grouping, you can use your categories. So hierarchies, groupings, company consolidation. You can also use these for anything such as your stat accounts or your management accounts. In addition to this, you can very, very easily add your own groupings to tailor them down to the individual company, again from a reporting or inquiry perspective. You can also, within these windows, assign specific reports. So if I wanted to see a trial balance for that one particular code, I simply click on the record, and what this opens up is a web-based report, which will show me the detail behind all the transactions for that one nominal code. With these reports itself, they are simply a web page. By copying this and sending it to someone who doesn't have access to GP, they can view these reports. They can also change the reports. They can also run their own parameters. So what this then does, it opens up reporting, inquiries, business intelligence to those users who aren't within finance. And you can tailor these reports down to whatever you need. Another key thing within GP is if you have an account code format that you wish to change. I have, as I showed you a moment ago, I have 3 segments, but I've actually set my system up so that I could potentially add further segments on. I can add a maximum length on, so if I need to add further analysis at a later date, further cost centers, regions, projects, so on and so forth, they can be very, very easily added onto the end. One of the key features of GP is the ability to have any number of financial periods that you like, up to 367 per year. Now this particular window is where you create your financial periods. The number of periods is entirely up to you. You can have any number of open years set up. You'll see that I have here, so I've got 2017. So if I create 2018, just to give you an example, I'd actually like 15 financial periods. Start and end date, I can calculate that, and it automatically creates these periods for me, and I can overwrite them should I so desire. The good thing about opening and closing financial periods within GP is that you would obviously restrict who has access to this particular window. At the moment, I've closed all my periods. Now, should I then wish to open up a previous period or a future period to do my accruals, prepayments, back postings, I can simply tick and untick that period to enable it for posting again. Once I've finished my transactions, my inquiries, my adjustments, I can then close that particular period and no one will be able to post to it. In addition to that, what you can actually do is you can close down a period by individual ledger. So if I just look at period 1, what you'll see is I have my financials, I have got my sales, I've got my purchasing. So for argument's sake, if I would like to close down my invoice processing but leave my payments open, I simply untick it. That will then prevent users posting invoices but allow me to still do my payment run. In addition to this, one of the key things within the system, as I said, is the reporting. From a day-to-day perspective, the majority of inquiries don't necessarily need to happen within the finance system. So within GP, out of the box, you have 300 plus Excel-based reports. And those reports are installed as standard, should you wish to have them at point of install, and they vary across the general ledger, purchase ledger, inventory, fixed assets, a number of modules within the system. And basically what they do is they provide a direct link, which is automatically refreshable straight into the data at the back end. Security can be restricted on this so that only certain users can see certain codes. But once you have this, it opens up the ability to report in GP to those users outside of finance. There's less reliance on the finance team to have to run reports for people, to run inquiries for people, to run budgets for people. So once these Excel reports are built, you can very, very easily change them. This is one of the standard ones, and what I've done, just for the purposes of showing you, I've used the same report, but I've added a number of the Excel things in. So I've just added a standard function to say, look at the date, tell me what the month is. look at the date, tell me what the year is, tell me what the date of the month is. And then from there, because it's a refreshable table, I can very easily pivot it. And using standard Excel, I can have dynamic information at the touch of a button. The benefit you also have to these is because there is a link to Dynamics GP within there, what you can also do is you can create a link directly back to GP. That's as standard, and what they will actually do is open up the specific record that it relates to. This is available across multiple ledgers, and there are a set number of reports that are available in dashboard mode, and again just using standard Excel functionality. Gives you dynamic information directly from the back end of GP. In addition to the Excel reports, there is also financial reporting, which again enables very, very simple creation of a suite of reports. Once these reports are built, you can then submit these to any number of users in the system. You get a truly unlimited number of users, so you can actually send it out to people and they can open it via a web page. The email itself will open up a hyperlink. And it also keeps a record of any report you'd ever run. So if I just preview this one particular report, I can then email the link. And it's simply a hyperlink to a web report. And these web reports themselves have full drill down. They have the ability to download directly into Excel. And the benefit to this is the users can keep a record of any reports they've run and save them to prevent too much strain on finance. There we have my report simply in Excel. These reports have full drill down within them to again open up the visibility to people outside of finance. The other thing that you may wish to do is, from an authorization perspective, is send authorizations on particular tasks to people outside the finance system, whether that be to line manage, compliance, so on and so forth. So within GP there is actually built-in workflow. So for argument's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a creditor. So within here, what I can do is I can submit this for approval. Now, should I actually need to submit some substantiating documentation, I can simply add this or any number of records so that when I submit it for approval, that will flow through. I can see at any stage what has been submitted, and if I just pop open my Outlook, what you'll see is there will be an email apologies with my workflow assigned, so that what I attach the creditor, and also a link back to the originating record within GP that I can then look at and approve. Now, whether I have my web client in use or my thick client in use, it doesn't matter. What this will also do is it will contain all records of any previous approvals required. One of the key things within GP is the ability for multi-currency. As I said, you have any number of currencies available for reporting. But what you may want to find is that you have your transactional rates, but then you also have your spot rates for your balance sheet reporting and also your profit and loss. So it's very, very simple to create multiple exchange rates for currencies for reporting purposes. So you'll see here I have euros, Australian dollars and GBP, and also US. So what I can actually do is I can set up different exchange rates for my balance sheet. I can have any number of these. I can have a different rate for my profit and loss. And so very, very easily I can assign this to individual codes or ranges of codes so that within Management Reporter, I can simply assign whichever currency I would like to report in. And what that will do is simply look at the company within GP and look at the exchange rate that you have assigned for that currency for the individual period and do the calculations automatically for you. So the benefit you do have is you can have reporting done in any currency irrespective of what the originating currency is of the transaction and the functional currency of the company. From a navigation perspective, from a user's point of view, as well as using all these links on the homepage, there are a number of favorites you can have. So if there's a specific kind of inquiry you do on a regular basis, so let's say you work in the cash office or you're responsible for the cash accounts. I've created what they call a navigation list, and the navigation list itself will just produce a list of elements as to what I've actually put in as a restriction. You can do that very, very easily, and you'll see as I mark these, I have a number of web-based reports which change on the right-hand side. Should I want to have a look at the transactions that make up, I can simply click on that and view my transactions. And I can say, okay, what do I want to do with this? I can very, very simply mark all my transactions, dump them into Excel. I can also mark individual transactions and drill down to have a look at the records. If it's incorrect, if it's been a misposting, I can very, very easily back it out from here. Should I wish to just print a report, I can simply close that window and mark, let's have a look, let's just print off a trial balance for those particular ones. So I go to my reports, I can print a trial balance in detail just for those records. And there we have the detail from there. So it's very, very simple to navigate your way around the system, get into multiple windows, and when you can do this on any of the ledgers. So if I go into my sales ledger, you'll see that I have one set up for my balances. Again, I can click on an individual record. I can view my transactions. And should I wish to from here, I could then email out a copy of an invoice. I can email out my statements. I can also view my reports. So it's a very, very simple way of getting into multiple areas in multiple different formats to suit whatever your organization requires. And again, from these web reports, you can then drill back to another record, whether it be another web page, whether it be the record in GP. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of Microsoft Dynamics GP and how this can help you move forward from your current finance system. If you have any further requests, please contact either Matthew Fleming, the Microsoft Dynamics GP Sales and Marketing Manager, or myself. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this useful.